Bitcoin is valued at over $1 trillion. But if you had invested just $1 when Bitcoin was at 0.09, today that $1 would be worth $700,000. So for every $1, it's $700,000, which is something like a 71,000,000% return. So it did a lot of huge things, right? But the chances of that happening again for Bitcoin is pretty much over. I mean, because even if Bitcoin was to double, right, that would mean it's now worth $2 trillion, right? The whole cryptocurrency market as a whole is approximately $2 trillion. So basically the point that I'm making is the idea was to get in back when it was 0.09. That was the idea. And the good news is that's happening every day. Every day, this right here is the list. And if you can see all the way at the bottom, it might be a little hard to see, but it says 1 to 100 out of 7,797. And that's just on CoinMarketCap. All of these cryptocurrency projects are doing some amazing things, especially the top 100. The top 100 cryptocurrency projects are all worth over $1 billion. And while they may not have did as well as Bitcoin with 700x for $1, a lot of them have done 500x, 1000x, 4000x, 20,000x within the top 100 cryptocurrencies. That's a very normal thing to do several hundred or 1000x in a very short period of time. Okay, but we have to ask one big question when it comes to these different projects. Is it utility or merely speculation? Because that's important, right? Because utility is it's offering some kind of purpose to the world, right? There's some kind of usefulness out of this. It's making the world a better place in some kind of way. Whereas speculation, there's one particular coin that I'm actually invested in called Shiba Inu. And it's just a meme coin. And it has done some crazy things. In fact, if you had invested $8,000 in Shiba Inu back in August of 2020, not back in 2009, just in August of last year, it would be worth now $5.7 billion. At least that was about a month or two ago. It went down a little bit. You got Shiba Inu?
I did.
Yeah, awesome. Did you get it back in the days?
No, I was like back in May.
Oh, May is good.
So
That's when I got it. Yeah, you did pretty good. You did. So you did like a 14x.
Like 7.
Okay, all right.
It was
Okay.
like a little bit of a.
Okay, you was in and out trying to time the market.
No, I was just
Okay.
Like,
All right.
at the time.
Okay.
Not
Okay.
anymore.
Oh, you mean now it's 7x? Yes, but it
Yeah,
went up
it
at
went
its
up,
peak.
yeah.
It was like 14x. So, but if you would have gotten in August, that was like something like a 100,000x, right? So it's out there. So you can't disregard the purely speculative cryptocurrency projects. However, the top 10 in most of the cryptocurrencies in the top 100 is utility. It has some kind of utility. So as we go through this presentation, I want you to ask yourselves one question. Ask yourself this question throughout the presentation. Does Coins for College offer some sort of utility to the world? Is it useful for the world? And I'm going to tell you that all of these cryptocurrencies, if you go on CoinMarketCap, you can research each and every single one of them. They have all the links that will take you to all the different websites, audits, and everything else about these. And what you will notice about most of these projects is that they provide the infrastructure for the cryptocurrency market as a whole. It's almost like when the back in the days during the gold rush, you had these, they called them 49ers. They came over to find gold, and the people who found gold, some of them got rich, but the people who really got rich was the ones who sold them the axe and the shovels and the picks. Those are the guys that got really rich. And that's exactly what it's like. There's this big gold rush. Everybody's jumping into cryptocurrency. And the people who are getting the most wealthiest are the ones that are providing the infrastructure for the cryptocurrency market. And then there's these shooting rising stars that are now using that infrastructure and providing resources to the world. and those are going to be like the Facebooks, the Googles of the world, right? So,
Sorry.
with,
You want me to tell her to put it on mute?
oh yes.
Okay. Hey, Mom. Hey, you guys. Hello? Oh, can you put it on like your guys' side of the phone line? Can you guys put it on mute unless you guys are talking? Oh, then it's probably Justin. Justin, can you put your phone on mute? Oh, okay. All right. We'll start.
Thank you.
So, when it comes to, when you look at it from that perspective, from utility, that's why the bold statement that I'm about to make next is, we believe, is absolutely true, right? Because of the level of utility that we're going to be providing to the masses. And that is that we believe that 3 months after we launch, we will become one of the top 10 cryptocurrency projects in existence. But before we do that, before we even get there, right, long before we get there, our very first goal is to take it from the price today, the cost of tuition coins, which is the cryptocurrency we're going to be talking about, take it from 0.005 to $1. That's our very first goal. Now, of course, we want to go beyond that, but that's our very first goal that we want to do. Okay.
And just to give you guys an idea, 0.005 to $1 is 200x. That's
correct.
200 times.
So extremely conservative, right? If anybody on the 100 top 100 list, they've done a 200x, 500x, 1000x. 200 is extremely conservative. Okay, so what is the Coins for College platform? Ultimately, it's an app. It's an app that will be available both on Apple and Android and other platforms. And on this app, students are able to earn micro scholarships for college. So currently, let me share with you the problem that exists today. And any of you that are parents, perhaps you can remember this. You have your children at a young age, and you're thinking they're going to be the next president of the United States of America. They're going to be a doctor. They're going to be a lawyer. They're going to get a full ride scholarship to the best college in the world, and I'm going to help them do it. And then life just happens, right? Life happens. If you're in a fortunate enough position, you could put a 529 plan together to pay for their college someday. But unfortunately, that's not the case for the average home. And they find themselves come 11th grade, 12th grade, scrambling on how they're going to pay for college. A lot of times students end up taking huge loans, building debt and so forth. That's stressful, that's depressing, or college is just not even talked about in the home, right? Because it's something that we just can't afford it. It's just not even talked about, right? If you were to go to the top 10 scholarship platforms right now, scholarships.com, FastWeb, there's a couple of other ones out there, any of them, all of them, the first thing they're going to ask you is your age. And if you're under 14 years of age, you can't even join the platform. Even if you're the parent and you're 40 years old, if the person, the student, is under 14 years old, they cannot join the platform. The main reason for that, among other things, is a federal law called COPPA, which stands for Children Online Privacy Protection Act. Because ultimately what they do is they take that kid's information, and they sell it to colleges. As a student, ultimately, you're a customer. College is a business, and a student is their customer. So what we're doing is we're saying, instead of waiting all the way until 9th grade for you to start earning scholarships, what we're doing, and this is really the secret sauce to the whole Coins for College platform, is that we're allowing students to earn college tuition or scholarships from the time they're in kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. So there's 4 ways for students to earn college tuition on our platform. One is attendance. The second is enrichment. And by enrichment, we mean we have a vast library of videos, educational videos, every single subject from every single grade, from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade, SAT preparation videos, everything that a child needs to be academically prepared at grade level and beyond. The next one is community service. Colleges want to see that you did more than just have a great GPA. They want to know, what did you do in the community? So right on our platform, you're able to connect with nonprofits and perform community service, whether it's virtual or in person. And in doing so, you earn coins for college. And the most important one is assessments. It is actually, I'll get back to assessments, but it's the key of everything. Also on the app, students are able to prepare for college. You know, I want to go back just one, if that's okay, because I missed out on something. You know, forget it. We'll talk about that later. So they can research college starting much earlier. Parents and students, so again, instead of waiting until 12th, 11th grade, you can come right to the platform and learn about every single college, not just in America, not just North America, Europe, Asia. It's an international website. We just got good news today, actually, that the largest newspaper in India is interested in sitting down with us and maybe doing a cover story on Coins for College. That's the first market we plan on going into after the United States. My developers are from India. They are the number one. They work for the largest curriculum builders in Asia. I'm sorry, I should say in Asia, because China is Asia. In India, the number one curriculum builder.
Congrats.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome, because they will give us the numbers.
Yeah.
Not a lot of money will come from India, but they'll give us the numbers, and Americans are impressed with numbers. So, so that's good. Okay. Also on the platform, obviously, students are able to be prepared for college financially, academically, and mentally. Without a vision, people perish. Without a vision, there's nothing to hold on to. You could lose hope. So, and that's what I wanted to show you guys in the previous slide, was that as you go on the app, every day, constantly, there's this reminder that, hey, you're going to college someday. There's the tip of the day, and here, this is how you get to college. These are the things you should be doing on a daily basis. So we're always putting that vision of college in a student's mind from the time they're young. Okay, so assessments. I talked about assessments. Assessments are the very core of the Coins for College platform. And the reason for this is that's the way it is right now. If you get a 1600 on an SAT, on the SAT, you could pretty much get a scholarship, a full ride scholarship to just about any college in the world, because they put such a huge emphasis on assessments, because it basically tells us how smart are you, right? How much do you know, right? What we're doing, because the SAT can be, there's many who say that the SAT is not fair because of the fact that it's one assessment that you take at the very end of your K through 12 career. What if you just had a bad year? What if you're going through stuff? What if your parents were divorced? You know, things happen, life happens. And so should you be penalized if you were a straight A student from kindergarten all the way up to 10th grade, all the way up to 11th grade? Everyone knew that you would go to Harvard. Everyone knew that you would go to Stanford because you were that smart. And then you just blew it in your last year. What we do differently is that we give assessments at grade level, starting in kindergarten, and you earn a portion of a scholarship starting in kindergarten. You do well in first grade, you earn a portion of a future scholarship in first grade, second grade, third, fourth, always at grade level. So by the time you hit ninth grade, you're already 3/4 of the way there. So why give up now? Don't fall to social pressures. Don't fall into bad behavior with bad guys who only have 50 scholarship coins when you have 500,000 scholarship coins. Keep going. And I just talked about 500,000 scholarship coins, right? So as you take these assessments, there's a multiplier for high scores. So if you score 90% or higher on an assessment, the very next assessment you take, you'll earn 1.2 coins per correct answer. And if you score a 90 or higher on that one, you'll get 1.4 per question on your next assessment, all the way up to 3 coins per assessment question. So one student can be earning 3 times as much scholarship coins as someone else who's not as bright, not as smart. But that's okay, because the assessments reveal those knowledge gaps. Why aren't you scoring a 90%? Maybe you need some help in biology. That's okay. On the Coins for College platform, we have a whole section of biology videos, and as you watch those videos, you're earning scholarship coins and you're performing better on the assessments because you want to do well on the assessments. That represents 70% of scholarship coins that you can earn. And this would be a good place to talk about the difference between scholarship coins and tuition coins, all right? Because there are 2 different coins. That's why it's coins for college. So scholarship coins is pretty much credit that is issued to students. It reflects a student's academic and social accomplishments throughout their K through 12 journey. And I put assessments again there because assessments is really the heart of it all, right? Because it tells us how much are they learning? How much have they learned? Are they ready for Harvard? Are they ready for Stanford? Or should they go to LMC and get some remedial courses? So that's what the scholarship coins are. It's just a reflection of what they can potentially earn for college. It's like a barometer. Whereas tuition coins is similar to Bitcoin in that it increases in value. It can be exchanged for cash. You can gift it to others. In fact, that's the way we market it. We market tuition coins as a product for friends and family, corporations, philanthropists, nonprofits to purchase to give to students. And every time tuition coins are purchased, teachers or educators, and it's important that I say educators and not just teachers because it's for anyone in the educational industry, they are the miners. So in Bitcoin, you have miners that verify transactions in the Bitcoin network, and for doing so, they earn Bitcoin. That's how Bitcoin come into existence. For our platform, Coins for College, educators are the ones that mine tuition coins. And the way they do it is through the almighty assessments. We talked about assessments. Assessments is huge. Without the assessments, this platform is absolutely nothing, right? So teachers currently, that's what teachers do. They're always writing assessments. Every time you take a test in school, it's based on an assessment that a teacher put together. In fact, the assessment industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and there's currently 4 companies that have a monopoly on the assessment industry. And they employ, on average, 2,500 teachers that work for them part-time on the side, where they just simply write assessment questions. 2 + 2 equals, all the way up to advanced chemistry, right? So on our platform, we're kind of like the Uber, right? We're the Uber of the assessment industry. So instead of just a lucky 10,000 teachers across the whole country writing assessments for these 4 large companies, any teacher can write assessments for our platform, and every time they submit a question, a valid question, on our platform, they earn tuition coins. That's how tuition coins come into existence. They earn tuition coins. So every time the price of tuition coins increase, as the price of the tuition coins increase, teachers are benefiting the most from it. So I like to say that tuition coins is unselfish by nature, but profitable by default. Because when you invest in tuition coins, ultimately you're investing in students, teachers, and parents. Now, at the very beginning of this presentation, I told you guys that we want to take the price from 0.005 to $1. Now, for any any cryptocurrency project, the price moving from whatever the initial start the price is of that cryptocurrency, as it increases, naturally investors benefit the most, right? So investors want other investors to come on board and they become evangelists, right? Like, for example, Bitcoin. I've been telling people about Bitcoin since 2015. I tried to get my brother to invest $10,000, which is a drop in the bucket for him. I tried so hard to get him to invest $10,000. He just wouldn't do it. He thought it was too risky and it's gonna go to zero. Now it's at 60. It would have made him a lot of money if he would have did it. And I love saying I told you so. I mean, all my friends, I get on Facebook and say, I told you so, I told you so. Because I was telling all of them back then. I was so convinced because I had a dream. God gave me a dream. And he showed me that the future was going to be coins. I didn't know what that meant.
The dollar value makes a big difference. What would that 10K be from 2015 until now?
So it was, I did the math. I think it was like 70 million.
10,000 would have turned into 70 million.
I think that was at that point.
Yeah, whether 7 million or 70 million, that's huge.
Yeah, it was still like, yeah, I think it was like 70 million that it would have been if he came in. No, I could be wrong on that, but I'll get back to you on that one.
Okay.
Yeah. And I like to say I told him so. I had a best friend, she, same thing, liked to invest in a lot of stuff, but she did not invest in Bitcoin. So anyway, needless to say, they're investing in this now. So investors, clearly, right? That's easily understandable, right? So because I was part of the Bitcoin community, I told everybody about Bitcoin. And everyone who invested in Bitcoin after me, right, made my holdings increase, right? So naturally, I want as many people to come in after me, and then I want to get out before they get out, right? and that's kind of the way it works, right? So to judge the success of a cryptocurrency project, I like to say there's two metrics that it must have. One, we just talked about, a community. People that are telling other people, you need to become a part of this. The Shiba Inu community is one of the craziest communities, right? They're just like, you just hit YouTube and Shiba Inu and there's like 1 million videos. That's the power of the Shiba Inu community. And that's why it was able to do such amazing things that it has done. So it's community, that's the first metric. The second metric is how does money go into the system, right? Why would people put money and how does money flow into the system, right? Because if it makes sense to put money in the system, then naturally, okay, the price is going to appreciate. So what this slide right here is, which I think is probably the most important slide in this entire presentation, other than how you can join, so is who are the people that will benefit the most when tuition coin reaches that $1 point and beyond. The first is actually not investors. It's not. It's teachers, right? Educators are the only people who can mine tuition coins, beginning at 0.01 or 1 cent. If educators choose to hold their tuition coins long term, they benefit the most from any price increase. Now consider this. Think about this for a second. Teachers are the most beloved professionals. Every year they do a poll, who's the number one professional, most loved professional? It's always teachers. Teachers talk to our students. Teachers talk to their parents. Teachers talk to each other. Teachers talk to their friends, right? So at the very core of our platform, our community, it's teachers. And as they tell students and parents to jump on the Coins for College platform, they can do it with a pure conscience. Because as students come on, which is the very next group, they are earning scholarship coins. They're getting what they need to go to college. The very next group, parents. Well, who don't want to see their child get the academics they need, get the finances they need to be able to go to college someday? Who don't want to see their child get a scholarship to top universities? So they're the next group. But philanthropists are probably the most interesting group. The number one cause that philanthropists give to each and every single year is education. Number two is hospitals, right? Health. But education is number one, and it's usually in some form of scholarships. Michael Bloomberg gave $4 billion. That's the owner of Bloomberg News, former mayor of my city, New York City, gave $4 billion to Johns Hopkins University for the purpose of helping underprivileged students make it into his alma mater, right? So they could enjoy that level of education. Here's the problem. I have 4 little girls. And my daughter Joy, who's 8 years old, really, really smart, right? And I want to see her be able to go to Johns Hopkins University one day. How does Michael Bloomberg's $4 billion help my little Joy make it to Johns Hopkins University? It doesn't. It doesn't. So based on my parenting, based on her discipline, based on things that we do, which is totally separate from Johns Hopkins University, we got to make sure she does everything necessary to one day be admitted to Johns Hopkins University. And then the good heart, the good intentions that Michael Bloomberg had would then kick in. But the student that made it that far, do they really need Michael Bloomberg at that point? Really, it's the kids that don't have access to tutors. It's the kids that maybe who parents don't speak English and can't give them the extra help they need with their homework. Those are the kids that really need that help. And now, through Coins for College platform, whenever philanthropists buy tuition coins through our nonprofit organization partnerships, they can rest assured that their good intentions are being met in a far more effective way. Michael Bloomberg would have given billions of dollars if a platform like this existed, but it does not. And we just changed that. Employer, corporation, same thing. Instead of waiting until a child gets to 12th grade and saying, here you go, great work, here's a scholarship. Nope, you're gonna help them along the way, starting from kindergarten. And of course, investors. That's clear, right? As the price goes from 0.005 to $1, they will reap the benefits. You have a question?
Question. How do people mine coins? I don't quite understand. I think of a miner, picking the walls
Yes.
or whatever. How do people mine coins?
That's exactly the way you think. They have people picking the walls and so forth. So let's use gold, for example, right? So you're picking away, and there's this precious metal
Right.
in the ground, right? And for their hard work of getting it out the ground, right, there are people waiting for them. Let's call them the middlemen, right? The middleman is the one that's waiting for them to bring it out of the earth, right? And they say, okay, for that gold, right now gold is currently, I think it's like $1,200 an ounce. They give them $1,200 per ounce, right? They won't give them $1,200 because it's not refined yet, right? They'll maybe give them $500, right? And then they refine it and then they sell it to the open public, right? And the price just goes up or down, up and down. We use it for jewelry, we use it for all sorts of things. So, because it's a limited resource, it has value. So, in the world of tuition coins, and we'll use tuition coins instead of Bitcoin, there's a limited amount, and when teachers go and do some kind of work, right? Those miners, they were doing work, right? So when they do some kind of work, and for us, that looks different. On each platform, it looks different. But basically, some kind of work is done, and your reward for doing that work is this new coin, right? So it's not just coming out of thin air, right? It's not just here's coins, right? Teachers did something. The assessment industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Teachers get paid, let's just say as it is right now without the Coins for College platform, teachers get paid $1 for every assessment question they answer. It's probably more like a nickel. I don't know what the exact price is, right? But here it is on our platform, we're saying, yes, you are valuable, and those questions that you are submitting is valuable. And we want to give you something of value in place of that work which you've done. So we give them a coin, and then philanthropists, corporations, friends and family who want to help their kids go to college, but at the same time want to support teachers, they're the ones that are purchasing tuition coins. Then you got supply and demand, right? So there's a limited amount of tuition coins. You have corporations, philanthropists purchasing tuition coins for the purpose of giving to students to help them go to college, or as an investment tool, speculative reasons. Either way, it's unselfish by nature, but it's also profitable by default. So whether you are someone who want to give it to someone or you want to hold it for yourself, teachers are benefiting from it because they did the work.
So mining just really means earning.
Yes, it means, yeah.
And just to clarify too, he mentioned there's 4 major companies that collect the assessment questions that universities use, and they only go from 9th to 12th grade, right? The questions only go from 9th to 12th grade.
No. The questions are from the whole, from kindergarten all the way up.
No, for the one you're developing,
Yes.
from the model you're developing. But the other companies are only from 9th to 12th grade.
No, they only give scholarships. The scholarship companies only give scholarships starting in 9th grade. You can't earn. Well, I'm sure there's some places out there, but it's not no big wide platform that you can go and start earning scholarships from kindergarten up to 9th grade. You gotta wait until you're in 9th grade to start earning scholarships.
So this platform runs off of these questions that will become valuable. So he had a hard time digging into those companies that have those questions. So he's starting this platform of collecting these questions. So he'll be the 5th major company with these questions, hiring these teachers and paying them with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I just was
Which one?
trying to figure out what mining meant in the
Yeah.
crypto world. I'm like,
Yeah.
how are they mining?
Yeah. So it does look different
Yeah.
for every cryptocurrency project. Some they got where you just walk. If you walk, right? But it's like, who pays you to walk? Really? Like, what is that all about? Right? So it don't really make sense. That's why I said 2 metrics. How does money come into this? So when you think about it, teachers already make money doing assessments. So we're saying you can make money doing assessments or creating assessments on our platform. But the money is coming from investors. The money is coming from philanthropists. The money is coming from corporations. And the next slide is slide after that is really exciting. What we want to do is basically, like I said, so these slides that I'm showing you right now, remember the whole purpose is to show you how and why we're gonna go from 0.005 to $1, right? That's what we want. We want that 200x. So students on our platform who take 7 assessments per month, and that's very conservative, they can take a whole lot more, will earn on average $630 in scholarship coins over a 3-month period. Teachers who submit 20 questions per day over a 3-month period will earn approximately $1,800. Again, that's conservative. Teachers can submit more questions, and they also earn tuition coins for reviewing other teachers' questions. That's the very important part I left out, because it's not just any question. As questions come on the platform, they are reviewed 1,000 times by teachers across the entire nation, and you earn 0.01 tuition coins for every question you review. And to review is it a good question? Is it not a good question? It's almost like Tinder. You guys know Tinder. You swipe left, swipe right. It's sort of like that. Real easy for the teachers to do. They can easily review 100 questions a day, no problem. And the questions that have a rating of 90% or above, those are the questions that make it into our assessment bank. And then our assessment bank, once we reach 500,000 questions, we're going to be submitting it to UC Berkeley for them to give their stamp of approval. And once we have that certification, then like Eddie said, that those 4 companies that currently have a monopoly on the industry, think about how many Uber drivers there is compared to one little taxi company that hires 100 drivers. Uber came in and said thousands of people can become taxi drivers. We're doing the same thing. We're saying thousands and hundreds of thousands of teachers can write assessment questions, and they can earn more money than they would ever by working for one of those 4 monopolies. So our goal is that to have 500 active users after 3 months. 3 months after launch is to have 500,000 active users. That includes parents, students, and teachers, educators. This is actually an old slide. That should say actually 500 million coins. We was initially raising $200,000 in round 0, which we're going to talk about in just a second. But because of the interest, we actually raised it to $1 million. So it's going to be 500 million coins in circulation. And then organizational partners, those are nonprofits that we were talking about, that philanthropists are able to purchase tuition coins and give it to them, and then they give it to the students. Okay, so we talked about the value of a cryptocurrency project can be measured by 2 simple metrics. Let's see what that looks like, those 2 metrics look like for Coins for College, or the tuition coins. How does money flow into the system? 1, corporations giving tax-free donations to partnering nonprofits to provide scholarships to students. And that's huge, because that's already happening. You see, corporations giving tax-free donations, that happens every single day, and it's gonna happen. And the number 1 recipient of those tax-free dollars are scholarships, education in some form or another. And what we have created was a bridge to allow them to do it in a far more effective way, 1, and 2, a far more transparent way. Because when they gave money to nonprofits before, for the purpose of giving scholarships to students, those nonprofits, they have their administrative costs, they have their accountants that cook the books, and they end up giving a $500 scholarship, although they got in $1 million, right? So ultimately, we've provided a platform now where through smart contracts, corporations can know that the money they gave is indeed giving students scholarships. And we could, again, talk more about that, but it would make this presentation a lot longer. The number 2 way that money flows into the system is philanthropists giving tax-free donations to partnering nonprofits to provide scholarships to students. Number 3, friends and family supporting their loved ones' journey to college. You ever see someone say on Facebook or any other Snapchat somewhere, hey, it's little Johnny's birthday. It's a little 5-year-old kid, it's the cutest thing in the world. Help me wish him a happy birthday, right? Those kind of posts always get like 100 likes and 75 comments. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. Especially friends and family. What if instead of doing that, we said, hey, it's little Johnny's birthday, help contribute to his future college education, right? And maybe not the whole 150 people that used to like it will donate, but Grandma will, and Uncle Johnny will, see, and Uncle Eddie will, right? And those little dollars, $1 here, $20 there, it all adds up. So that by the time they were in 12th grade and ready to go to college, they have these tuition coins that have been stacking up and gaining interest all along, increasing in value. Okay, so that's what that is like. Colleges providing scholarships to their future student body. I said it before, students are customers. At the end of the day, they're customers, and colleges are businesses. And the way they get those students into their college, because there is what we call a customer acquisition cost, right? How am I going to get that student into my college instead of going to another college? The number 1 way you do that, you offer them a scholarship. You offer scholarships. So colleges find people like me, platforms like this, that have on their platform a marketplace of students that are looking to go to college. And they want to cherry pick from that group of students, that pool of students that we've gathered and said, hey, we're going to help you go to college. College just says, I want him, her, and him. And they're willing to pay a fee, a customer acquisition cost. And when they pass that cost to us, when they give us that fee, we pass it right to the platform. This is not our business model. This is not how we make money. So we are able, that's also a $1 billion industry. That's why the cost of college keep going higher and higher and higher, especially private institutes. They just keep raising their cost, and then they give a huge scholarship. If it costs $120,000 to go to the school, they give an $80,000 scholarship to some kids, $50,000 scholarship to some, and less to others. But $40,000 is what they're making, right? Because that's the difference. That's how much you have to go get a student loan or come out of pocket, right? So that's the real cost, right? Everything else is just a ploy. It's like a bait to get you into the school, right? So we pass that money right into tuition coins. And then, of course, the last way money comes into the system is through speculators. The size and engagement of its community is the other metric. For us, our community consists of educators, students, parents, corporations, nonprofits, and of course, investors. Basically, it's a huge community. It's a lot of people going around telling people about Coins for College platform and about tuition coins, other than just a bunch of excited investors hoping to get richer. Okay, now here's the good part. I tried to get here faster, but I'm working on it. So this is the offer document. Currently, Tuition Coins is in round 0. And of all those cryptocurrency projects that you saw on CoinMarketCap, one thing you will never see is round 0, unless you happen to know the owners, right? The people who actually started the project. You were there, you were the ones talking about it, you was the one that's saying, I got this idea, we're gonna do this thing. Because those are the people, friends, family, early investors, that makes it a reality. And that's what you are today. You are those round 0 people before we launch, before we put it on any exchange. So I was talking with you, EJ, about Coinbase and different exchanges. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you're familiar with Uniswap, right? Because Uniswap is that really sweet place to get into a coin, a cryptocurrency project, before the world gets it, right? Before it gets on Coinbase, one of the popular exchanges. But there's another place before Uniswap, and that's the living room. That's the living room. That's when it was just an idea and was being talked about, right? So the purpose of this offer document is to provide essential information about tuition coins in a way that will assist early investors in making informed decisions about whether to purchase the units being offered. Great care was taken to present the information in a clear, concise, and easily understandable manner. Now, this document here, I'm going to send it to you guys. You're going to have it. You can have it for your review. It's about 15, 20 pages long. So it's a lot of dense stuff. It's similar to like a white paper. It's not our white paper. We have a white paper apart from this. But there are some key things that I need to talk about, and this is one of those slides. When a successful cryptocurrency project hits the market, let's take Dogecoin, for example. So Dogecoin is like another meme coin that had wild success. People became millionaires overnight with Dogecoin. The problem with Dogecoin is every time the price is going up, the creators of Dogecoin pump more coins into the system, right? They keep pumping more coins in the system, their own coins into the system. And as they do that, they keep the price from just taking off, right? They're always flooding the market. It's like inflation, right? So they're getting richer and richer and richer, and everybody else is moving up just a little bit at a time, right? We're sharing little crumbs while they get billions of dollars into their pockets. We are much more interested in the long-term success of tuition coins, the whole meaning behind it. And that is why we let teachers come in not at ground zero, but just about before the general public comes in, before the general people are able to invest, teachers come in first. And everyone who comes in after teachers are actually investing into teachers. And the way we wrote our smart contracts, the way we are actually writing the whole protocol, is that those two lines on the bottom, that represents the team coins, my coins, right? And the developers. They are being released at a very low rate, very regulated rate, so that the coin can do stuff like go from 0.005 to $1 and beyond, right? So the next slides, I'm gonna just kind of fast forward through. Not that it's not important, but it talks about the techie stuff, which if you guys are into that, by all means, you can research it and look it up. I'm gonna give you all this document to do just that. Okay, but I want to get, okay, here. This is where we are today. Round zero, we're releasing 200 million tokens at 0.005 for a raise of $1 million, and that ends December 31st, when this round is up. Now, I need to make you guys understand, and maybe you saw this already, is that we're not raising $1 million to build something. We already built something. We already built it. I had a really bad experience with my last company where I literally got voted out of my own company. So I took in 0 investors. The only investors up to this point, now we have started taking investment now because I've been doing these presentations for a little over a week now. The only person outside of myself is the developers. They have 5% in the company, have 5% supply, and even they have a contract saying that they could only release their tokens at a very regulated rate. So that's round one, friends and family. Round zero. Round one, 500 million tokens at 0.01. You may have remembered I said the people who benefit the most as the price increased, I said was educators. Actually, that was a lie. That was a lie. The people who actually benefit the most are around 0 people. That's the people. But that's a very, very small amount. 200 million tokens it represents like 1% of the, less than 1% of the coin supply. So it's not a lot of people is what I'm saying. There'll be no whales. A whale is somebody who has a whole bunch of coins, and just think of a whale in the ocean. When a whale jumps up out of the water and splashes down, everybody feels it. Everybody goes down, right? And in the world of cryptocurrency, there are lots of whales. People who came in very early and they had 1 billion coins, and when they decide to sell, it tanks the whole market. We want to avoid whales. That's why we're only releasing $1 million or 200 million tokens in this round zero. Round one is only for educators. Regular investors are not allowed in round one. Only educators, the very educators that are on our platform, that are mining by submitting questions, they have an opportunity for 2 months to purchase as many tuition coins as they want, up to, when we close it, $5 million. Round two is when regular investors can come in. And if you guys do any research on ICOs, cryptocurrency projects, what you will quickly discover is that these rounds are before it goes on an exchange, right? You have to be in the know. Before it goes on the exchange, these rounds sell out in minutes. They sell out in minutes. Depending on how well of a job you did in promoting it during the first round, it sells out in minutes. Now think about it. Who are the people that are investing in round one? They're the educators. They're the ones talking to parents. They're the ones talking to students. They are the evangelists. They are the ones getting out there. So it's almost like the teachers, if they were the army, and investors were the ones that were now, that the colonels, the ones that's going to benefit from the work that the army do, because they're going to go out and tell everybody about this, right? But the beautiful thing in this project is that the kernels are actually working for the teachers. Because if the kernels were the investors, every time they invest because they want to be a part of this, the teachers got in before them. The educators got in first. So all these big time investors that's coming and dumping money in the system, they're actually investing into teachers.
I love it because they really deserve better
Exactly.
income and salaries for all their sacrifices.
Our whole marketing campaign is behind the statement that you just made.
Oh.
That's the entire marketing campaign. It's behind that statement right there. Okay, round 3, we're gonna raise 50 million. Now the prices that you see there, 0.01, 0.02, 0.04, that's for all intents and purposes are placeholders. The first round for teachers will be 1 penny, But for round 2, we're looking, it's probably gonna be more like 4.04, and round 3 is gonna be 10 cents. So the point is that those who came in at round 0, by the time the first set of people come in, you would have already seen 100% increase, right? By the time we make it to the general public, when we open it on the exchange, Uniswap is the first exchange that we're gonna be on, there will already be a 20x that took place already by the time it hits the public market. At that point, you're welcome to jump out at that point, maybe take your initial investment out and let the rest keep going, but that's up to you. Our entire campaign, that the $1 million, the majority of the $1 million is going towards the campaign of taking it from 0.005 to $1. So I'm advising people that the point where you would want to pull out would be between 80 and 90 cents. That's the goal, because when it hits that $1 mark, we expect it to go down. It's going to go down because a lot of people are going to take profits. But then it goes back up. That's just the way things are. Okay, so here's the round 0 investment opportunities. You can come in at any place you want, starting at $500. And that's another very rare thing for something like this, to have a $500 lot. That's because it truly is for friends and family, right? Some people just can't afford it. They want to get rich. They want to be a part of something. And if they could go back in time, they would have put $500 in Bitcoin, and it would be worth many millions, right? Well, here's that opportunity to come in at a very small rate. But the person who puts in $10,000 today would receive 2 million tuition coins. And the question I ask you to ask yourself throughout this entire presentation is, does Coins for College offer utility to the general public? Is it something that benefits the average individual? And if the answer is yes, is it safe to say that moving from a very conservative 0.005, to move from 0.005 to $1 is a very conservative assessment? Thank you. Any questions?
Awesome.
I saw it was Cardano. You guys are using this
Yes,
protocol?
absolutely. Yeah, Cardano. You read fast.
It was like,
Yeah, and you know why. The Cardano is because of the gas fees. So basically, when you move money around in the world of cryptocurrency, Ethereum is the #1 platform for that right now. And because of that, there's a lot of congestion. They have scaling issues, and it's very expensive to move money around. So Cardano is the next generation of blockchains.
Is this your website? Is this part of a website?
You can, so that's the investment part. I can take, the website is, I'll send you the link.
I was gonna say, that looked like a really good thing to put on your website, so people can just click and go,
So
yes.
actually, so right now, when you go to the website, yeah, see, he's making, my developers actually working on this right now as we speak. So, yeah, no. So
How many,
he's that
developers?
part that you just saw is gonna be part of this, and actually the new site looks really amazing.
So are you working with like legal folks to
Absolutely.
check it out every step of the way as you're
Yeah.
putting it together?
I spend literally hours
With lawyers and
and financial people a day
Yeah.
on the phone, and So we're not going to be registered in the United States. So the cryptocurrency world. So if you guys want to go into this really quick, I love to tell it. I'll make it really fast. But what makes cryptocurrency so exciting and why cryptocurrency is the big buzz is currently the current financial system as it exists right now is, let me just put that on there just for,
About to pop.
yeah, because they can't see anything else without this. So, you guys still there? All right, they had it on mute.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So, cryptocurrency is what makes cryptocurrency so exciting. What did I do?
It's up there, but
So, what makes cryptocurrency so exciting is that sorry, I don't know what I did. I apologize. Okay, there we go. What makes cryptocurrency so exciting is that the current financial model that the world operates in, the economic system, right, is all based on the banking system, right? Everything is the banking system, right? It's because of the banking system that we could do commerce, mortgages, insurance, all of those products that come out of the banking system is really what makes the world go round. In fact, a third world nation is what makes a third world nation is they don't have the banking infrastructure that first world nations have. And that was by design. That was literally by design so that the first world nations can strip the natural resources from the third world nations because they don't have the banking system. And banking system is everything. And I could go into 20 minutes talking about why the banking system is so important and why it allows first world nations to be so prosperous, and third world nations so poor. But I can break it down to one very, very simple reason. And it's called a ledger. That's really all a bank is. A bank at the end of the day is a ledger. And what a ledger do is it keeps track of debits and credits. So when you go to Walmart and you want to purchase a new pair of sneakers, maybe you wouldn't be buying sneakers from Walmart, but whatever it is that you're trying to purchase, Walmart, behind the scenes, make a phone call to the bank to check the ledger. And they say, hey, ledger, or hey, bank, can you check the ledger and let me know if EJ has $19.99 to purchase these sneakers? And if the ledger shows that you have a balance of $2.4 billion because you invested in tuition
You're my
coins,
best friend.
they're going to say, the bank is going to send a notice back to Walmart saying, yes, he has enough. Walmart's going to say, well, he's purchasing something now, debit his account, and they're going to debit your account $19.99, and they're going to credit Walmart $19.99 minus the fees. Now, remove the ledger, remove the bank. How does that happen? How does that happen? You got to have cash, right? But what if what you was trying to buy was in China? How would it happen without the bank, without the ledger, right? You get it? So the ledger is everything. It's the ledger. Forget all of the complication ways that banks try to make things so complicated. It all comes down to a simple ledger. How much money does this person have in their account? When they make a purchase, debit it and credit the person they're purchasing from, right? And because of the almighty ledger, then all of these other products come out of the banking system that runs the world. Here's what cryptocurrency is. Here's how you explain cryptocurrency. You want to explain cryptocurrency to anybody. Cryptocurrency is blockchain technology, right? That's what's underneath cryptocurrency, blockchain technology. And this is what blockchain technology is. A distributed ledger. And what that means is, so the bank is central. It's one location, it's one, Chase, they're one unit, right? US Bank, Bank of China, whatever, right? It's a central entity. right, that holds this ledger of all of its customers. A distributed ledger is imagine if everybody on their phone right now had the exact same ledger. And now when EJ went and made a purchase, right, everyone's ledger, all of us on our phone, we all had a ledger, the exact same ledger. And when EJ made a purchase, everybody saw that the ledger was updated. That's what blockchain technology is. It's a distributed ledger. That's all it is. It's a distributed ledger. Now, here's the question. If everybody has the ledger, if the ledger is distributed, what do we need banks for?
Right, you don't.
You don't. You don't. And that's the big fuss. That's the big revolution. That's what's happening. That's why we have lockdowns. That's what COVID is all about. All right, I'm getting into my conspiracy theorist stuff. But it's true. It's the whole upheaval. The reason why it seems like this is such an orchestrated thing around the world is because blockchain technology is here. It's Pandora's box. It has opened and you can't shut it. China tried to do it and they couldn't. They couldn't stop Bitcoin. Nobody could stop Bitcoin. Nobody could stop a distributed ledger because we all got phones. And even if we don't have phones, you got these computers and Bitcoin servers are all over the world. All over the world. El Salvador is the first nation that made Bitcoin its legal tender. You can't shut it off. You can't. And that's what's so exciting. So there is a tsunami that is hitting this world, and it's called digital currency. And get out your surfboards and ride this tsunami. And coins for college, tuition coins is a surfboard. You get any surfboard you want, but I like this surfboard. And I want you to ride this wave with me.
How close are you to the $1 million goal?
Not close at all. I just started doing presentations the week of Thanksgiving. And I have about 7 investors, a lot of commitments, a lot of verbal commitments, a lot of people are excited about it. Everybody on the big investment side is waiting for someone else big to jump in. And that's the first question. Who else is in? Who else is in? Who else is in? So everyone's waiting for the big. I haven't presented it to the people that can invest $50,000 and $100,000 as of yet. Kind of using you people that's like my guinea pigs, if you will. Sorry. My training. So, and it has been received very well. I'm doing more and more presentations. I have so many presentations. I have like 10 people I'm presenting to tomorrow. It's just, and I haven't even touched my network yet. This is people that, like, for example, Eddie asked me to do a presentation for you guys. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm spending most of my time on. Doing presentations for people that someone I did present to said, hey, can you show it to this person? Can you show it? That has been 90% of my presentation so far.
Well, when you get to that next few levels, I've
Yeah.
got like 28,000 connections in LinkedIn. If you want, it's a professional,
Awesome. Yeah.
platform.
Yeah.
If you want to announce something like that, be happy to share it. And
So what I'm in the process of doing right now actually is I'm putting together a video presentation that I can send. I could put a sales page, the video sales page, and it's one of the integrations is with LinkedIn. So I will be able to send it out to like a whole list.
I'll send it for you.
Awesome.
Shoot.
But that won't be until the 3rd tier presentation anyway, right?
No. So
I mean, because right now it's just family and friends and then teachers.
Yeah.
So I mean, LinkedIn is not part of the family and friends yet.
I mean, this is the funny part. The $1 million is actually the hardest raise. The first raise is the hardest raise because then it's based on that success and what's done with that makes the other raises so easy. So,
So the friends are the LinkedIn.
yeah, I need to get to that $1 million mark, right? So
I think you'll get that in a
yeah,
week.
I think so too. Honestly, I have a feeling that once I do this next set of presentations for the those individuals that can write that big ticket, I believe that someone is gonna say, hey, can I just write you a check for $200,000 and I got a few friends, and that's what I see happening.
So if we were to say put in 5K today, is there like a contract that we would sign
Yes.
online with you?
No, it's just a handshake.
How Are we back in the day of handshake? Hey.
So it is technically it's considered a loan, right? It's considered a convertible note, right? So a convertible note, anytime you make any kind of investment, and that's to make you not have to pay any taxes. You don't want an asset. You want a convertible note. You want something that says at some point in the future it's going to turn into an asset, right? And by the time it does that, it's going to already be registered in Malta, and your coins is going to be
What's
in.
Malta?
So
Country.
yeah, so United
Oh.
States.
Is
Yeah.
that another one? Shibu Inu, whatever.
Yeah. So all of the cryptocurrency projects, maybe with the exception of maybe one that I think of. I don't know if no XRP, even Ripple is. None of them are located in the United States of America. Remember how I said to you that who needs a bank? Well, the American dollar, the American banking system, is the reserve dollar for the world. 65% of all the money in the world is in US dollars. So America is the last company that want to see cryptocurrency take over. So in Europe, in Asia, it is exploding. It's exploding. But the US dollar is there's a lot that's about to happen. There's a lot that's about to happen because, like I said, you can't stop this. So if you have a cryptocurrency company, you can do business with people in America, but you don't want to be registered in America because of the SEC and the way they're cramping down on it. So you register it overseas, but then you do business through exchanges and so forth. But even then, once you have an asset, it's a taxable instrument. So anyone who invests in round 0, in round 1, in round 2, in round 3, they receive a convertible note, basically saying that here's a contract that says at some point in the future, this loan will be converted into this asset, and this is how much you will have. So it's a contract with the company, and that's what it says. And then at that point, like I said, then it becomes taxable. If you exchange it for currency, for US dollars. We advise everybody to keep it in for 1 year, because if you keep it in for at least 1 year, the capital gains rate goes from something like 50% to like, I think it's like 15%, something like that. So, you wanna do
Okay,
that.
well, you have a legal team or people advising people that do get, our money will increase at some point. I'm sure you'll be able to advise us better on how to shelter all that. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if you have time for all that,
You know
but
what I just thought of? Victor would be a great guy.
oh my
to
gosh,
kind of
that's the guy I
connect
got. I
them.
have my insurance policy with. The guy that
He is
exposed
so
us to it.
well connected. You need to meet
No,
him.
he is the guy you need to talk to right now if you want to get this thing
So well
Okay.
connected.
financed immediately. This is the kind of thing he would go into.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a financial advisor, a tax guy, and all that.
All right, great.
Question.
Yeah.
For the coin, right? Could you convert that to like USDC?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll be able to do that.
Okay.
In fact, that's another part that I didn't go into. But
Hello.
yes.
Hey Josh, thank you so much for the presentation. It was really a lot of information. Thank you so much. I'm like neglecting my friends, so I'm going to go back to them now.
Okay.
Yeah, let us know the next steps. Thank
Okay.
You.
All right. You got it. Thanks, Justin.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Justin.
Bye, Justin.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
So nice of him. So on the platform, when students receive tuition coins, we have it where the person who's giving it to them can determine, do you want it to be USD or do you want it to be tuition coins, or do you want a mixed bag? Because obviously the cost of tuition, the price of tuition coin can go down, and you don't want to have a kid getting ready to go into college. He thought that he had 20,000 and he really only has 10,000. So they're able to convert it into USD, and then they can stake it on the platform. So it will still increase
I
it.
mean, as a USDC.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. Yeah.
It's USDC.
It's a coin.
Yeah, it's like a
It's
stable coin.
It's like currency that's like based off of the dollar, but it's a cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Crypto. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
a lot.
So it represents
Converts into
$1. So
yeah.
one USDC basically represents $1. And
It's like, it's like a loop behind
Who's-
yeah, that's a whole
not
nother.
telling the government.
Who are you competing with in this space? Anybody doing this for colleges, universities?
Nope, not a single
You're
one.
on your own, that's
We are-
awesome.
Yep, we are the only ones, and there's so many levels of complexity, and we have such a head start that, you know, we believe we have a moat around what we're doing.
For your programmers in India, like stoked about this whole thing?
Absolutely.
Oh,
How many,
Absolutely.
developers?
Absolutely.
How many developers currently?
6,
6. Okay.
and, but, so after this round, like I said, we've already built it, we got the finishing touches, but, we're gonna have you gotta have a staff, right, of developers that you just keep on board, and you're always, you know, increasing, you're always, building, doing better, so,
You said you had a company before this.
yes.
What was that?
I can show you guys a quick little video if you're interested.
Sure. Alright. I wanna see.
I own Tupperware.
So, let's try to find it.
Something completely different. Mind blowing.
Here it is. So this is what
And working with Professional Address, one of the things that we're really excited about as a site principal and as a school community is that we have students every year who have gone through this rigorous course of study, have gained a lot of value experience in working with the professionals as industry partners, and to help them be able to tap into their strengths and market their skills, and to help them pursue their goals and dreams in a professional business community or a college of their choice.
so
What Professional Address is
That's me.
going to allow them to do is to be able to go through and work on those interview skills,
Holy smokes!
practice those interview skills, and then record them so that jobs and businesses can go right to Professional Address, look at the resume, and also look at the speaking and interview and professional skills that these applicants have, giving that HR department a huge advantage over any other HR department as they look at those applicants, because they'll be able to weed through them on a faster basis and bring in the ones that really have the critical skills that they're looking for. And so that's one of the things that Professional Address is going to be able to give to HR departments around the world.
So Professional Address, which was my company, was basically a platform that was working with students that gave students a professional address online to combat all the crazy that they were doing in social media.
Oh,
Oh.
it's still playing. I thought it was my mom.
So Professional Address was an app for students that they can upload all of their school grades, their transcript. If they did a special project, an essay or something, they can put it right there on their professional address. They can build a resume. We had the tools, like you just put in a few things and we created a resume for you using what you did at school. And if you had any other jobs, we put a nice resume for you. And then you could record an interview video as well. And basically the concept behind it was, when you go apply for that first job, or when you go to apply for a college, they're gonna research you. They're gonna look you up. And these kids, they're not smart enough to know you shouldn't be doing the crazy stuff that you're doing on social media, right? Here's an alternative for those colleges and employers to see your professional address. Then God gave me this dream about coins being the future economic system. And I knew nothing about Bitcoin at the time. A few days later, I hear about Bitcoin. And I think I was doing some research because this dream was like so just vivid and real. I told my pastor about it, and then I heard about Bitcoin. And I just started researching it like crazy. And in Bitcoin, if you have Bitcoin, your Bitcoin is held in a Bitcoin address, right? So you know, right? So it's your address. And I was like, wow. Because when I was building professional address, I kept hearing God say to me, it's not what you think it is, but keep going, right? And I just always remembered that. So when I saw that a Bitcoin address was where you hold your Bitcoin, I said, I got it. Professional address is supposed to be an address for students to hold their digital currency to pay for college one day. Because the whole idea behind professional address was to help students get into the college of their choice without all the crazy stuff they're putting on social media. But it was missing that piece. It was missing the financial piece, right? Because how are you going to pay for college? So we pivoted it from professional address to Coins for College. My business partners thought I was crazy, thought I lost my mind. And the president of the company, who also had the second largest amount of shares in the company, it was a publicly corporation that was going to be publicly traded one day. At least that was the hope, the plans. He said that make him the CEO or he's stepping down from being the president. I hate to see you go, but you can't just demand someone give them that kind of ultimatum. So I know what God has showed me, and I said, sorry, I can't do that. So he stepped down as president of the company, and he really was the heart of the company. I mean, this guy is awesome. He was amazing. Amazing administrator. He brought the whole team together. We had a big office space right over there on off of 18th Street Vineyard, going towards Oakley, and before Star Gymnasium, you guys know that. We had a big office space there.
Oh yeah. The
land-
Gracie School used to be there.
the- which one?
Gracie Jiu Jitsu School used to be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so yeah, and that was all him. He did all of that. He brought investors to the table. And when he stepped down as president, so right before he stepped down, we had got this huge contract with Clayton Valley Charter High School, and they wanted to partner with us to take professional address into all the charter schools. So it was exciting times. And that's when I dropped that bomb on them. We got to pivot. Professional address need to also be an address for students' digital currency. The whole company fell apart. They voted me out of my own company, and but God said, "Don't worry, it's gonna be okay." And so that was about 4 years ago, and I've been working towards this ever since. And that's why I didn't take in any investors, because so he had convinced the whole board, and all of them had shares, stock in the company. He had convinced them all to go along with his plan, which was to create a competitive company that was going to compete against my company. And he had all my intellectual property, he had everything. And it never did go anywhere. It fell apart, what they were trying to do. And history proved me to be right, because Bitcoin went from $250 to $68,000. And if we had truly pivoted it the way I had wanted us to, yeah. But anyway, I'm excited that, to be where I'm at right now.
Besides the coders in India, programmers in India, who else are your partners? Just you?
The guy across the street from you, Dr. Saggers, the big, tall guy.
Mike?
You know him? Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah, Mike Saggers. Yeah. He was with me from the very beginning.
I didn't know he was even a doctor.
He's a doctor of education.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because he's come over before when Johnny bought this big, huge telescope thingy.
Oh
and
yeah,
he was
he's big
really
into that.
Big into that.
Yeah, he's
I
a
didn't think he
geek.
was a doctor.
Yeah,
or anything like
he's Dr. Saggers.
that. I called him the moon stalker.
Yes, he could go on for hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice guy.
Very nice guy. He's my mentor, and he was with me from day one. He was one of the biggest investors in professional address, and he has over 33 years in the education field. So it was me and him that would sit for hours and hours working out all the different little kinks of how we were gonna, do the breakdown of how students earn scholarship coins, what were the metrics. Yeah, he was very valuable. So he's the second largest shareholder, actually, and he's like my partner. He's
Before you got into businesses, were you actually working before in other corporations, or have you always been a business owner?
No, so, you know, I guess from the time I was very, very young, I was selling T-shirts. I remember I was,
You were
Oh,
always
I was-
entrepreneurial.
I was always entrepreneurial, but it wasn't until about, so I had one other company before Professional Address called Upload Studios. And the concept was, think about influencer, the influencer market right now. Before the influencer market, I used to make these videos before Facebook had live and all that kind of stuff. I used to make these videos on Facebook. Now, they used to call me the mayor of Facebook. And I would talk about different products in these videos. And I had this concept that it would be these people who had a lot of followers like myself. And what if we all got together and we all talked about different projects, and then we went to Coca-Cola or whatever and said, hey, we'll put your products in our videos, and did this whole big presentation. You know, Dell Computers were contemplating investing, and it just, I was young and, you know, just didn't know a lot. And anyway, ended up, ran out of money and gave up, and then, yeah, the influencer market took off. And it's like a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's a new way of advertising now.
Yeah.
So that was, I actually have my pitch deck that I pitched for Dell Computers, and it's scary reading it because everything that was in that pitch deck I've seen come to pass with my own eyes. And so I was determined to not miss this. And the Bible says that the Holy Spirit will show us things to come. And so since 2015, I saw this space here. I saw it. There's a gentleman named Mukesh Ambani. He's like the richest guy in Asia. And he's from India. And just yesterday, he announced that he's going all in on digital currency. And that's huge, right? Because he has such an influence on the Indian government. Some would even say he is the Indian government. So the very fact that he said he's going all in, I believe the tsunami is here, because now it's I mean, they're the second largest populous nation in the world after China, and they're all in. So
I love the cause behind your company.
thank you,
It's awesome. Unheard of.
thank you, I appreciate that.
I have a friend who's a teacher, and I think this is a really great opportunity for her too.
Yeah. So it's interesting because almost every single presentation I've done so far, someone has a teacher
Oh yeah.
and their family, and where the teacher was watching it, they said, I want a mine. And that's like the best news for me, right? Because that's everything. Teachers are the core. So the reason we made teachers is, it is a good cause, but if I'm being honest, I told you there's two metrics to every successful cryptocurrency project. One is how money flows into the system. We showed you guys that. But the other one is community. So we spent a good amount of time deciding, trying to determine how would we build a community and what can we do to incentivize that community to be engaged, to stay engaged, to be on fire. And for 2 years, I tried to break into the assessment industry. I had no idea that it was ran by these four large monopolies, four companies that had a monopoly. I didn't know that because they licensed their assessments to about 100 different companies. So whenever you look up assessments, Google, you bump into one of these 100 companies that they license it out to. And I had meeting after meeting trying to partner with an assessment company that would allow me to use their assessments on my platform. And that's not how their business model works. The way their business model works is you got to tell them how many students you have, and they charge you per student. That's not my business model at all. And I mean, I had, for 2 years, so frustrated. And finally, I had a meeting with Stratton, and they're one of the top big four. And the lady, the old lady, never forget her, she was so awesome, Patricia. She said to me, what you're asking for, you're not gonna find. She said that, and then she told me, she said, there's four companies that have a monopoly, and it explained everything. And I said, wow. So I told my developer what I was going through, and this is the funny part. when I told my developer what was going on, because he was wondering, like, why is this project being stalled for so long? I said, I can't find anyone to let me have access to their assessments. And he laughed and he said, go check out this website. And he said, what I do, my regular 9-to-5 job is that we build the curriculums and the assessments for all of the Middle East, right? And so basically he was the guy I was looking for all along to actually go and build our own assessment. But by that point, we had come up with the clever kill two birds with one stone. Hey, why don't we make teachers that community? Let's make them our community and let them submit assessment questions. So he built this amazing platform for teachers to submit the assessment questions, because that's what he do. That's his 9-to-5 job. And so as they submit these assessments, we will build the largest assessment bank of questions in the world, because we democratized it. We allowed any teacher to submit a question. So that's the real reason why we went after teachers, and we just ran with the PR campaign, because it's such a big issue. The teachers are the #1 underpaid professionals.
Like the taxi cab to the Ubers.
How do you validate like the teachers themselves, and then how do you validate the questions?
That's an excellent question. So that question is so important, right? Because remember what I just said, right? I like the good feel, the good feelings is nice, but we were after community, right? So do we really care, right? Do we really care, right? If somebody say, I'm a teacher, okay, I mean, we're saying we're going after teachers, we want teachers, we're even saying that we will validate you, right? And the purpose for that is we want the right to validate someone, right? So if someone's a jerk and they're doing some bad things, then we want to be able to say, get out of here, right? But really, it was all about community to begin with, right? So that's why we say educators and not teachers, because there's a lot of people who consider themselves educators.
Are you asking about validating the person or the question?
Yeah, being a teacher, a professional.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's the community that we're building, and the community we want it to be as big as possible. So if someone considers themselves an educator, now I'm not going out there publicly saying this, but there will be individuals who will sign up and says, well, I'm an educator, and they're going to get assessment questions from other places, right?
Oh.
So there's assessment questions are everywhere. They're just everywhere. And so you can take an assessment question that says, Mary went to the store and purchased 4 apples. She gave 2 to her little brother Johnny. How many does she have left? You could take that same question, and instead of saying Mary, you could say Martha went and purchased 6 apples and gave 4 to her little brother Mikey. How many do you have left? And now that assessment question, you can submit it. There's going to be a lot of that going on, and we're okay with that.
So you have a legal team in place? Because I imagine lawsuits are going to come left and right.
Well, here's the thing. When it comes to, so we have AI built into it, right, to prevent plagiarism. And we will have disclaimers saying that, plagiarism is not allowed, right? But there's currently nothing on the market right now that stops any of those 4 guys, the big monopolies, from taking each other's questions, and it happens. That's known that's the educational market. And who's to say?
And they don't squash each other over that.
They can't, because
they can't. And you coming in, they might band together and squash you.
And they would not squash us. They could try to fight us, like the same way. Remember when YouTube, everybody was putting like VHS videos and people was putting all kind of stuff, and they came and said, "Hey, YouTube, you can't let people put videos on. You got to stop this, right?" And YouTube put some things in place, right? But ultimately, you can still find any song you want on YouTube, and you could listen to it, right?
I was just wondering if these lawsuits might
Except
slow you
France.
down.
So now we will. Like I said, when I talk to my legal guys, like we literally talk for hours, right? Like we've been, especially this whole week since money has been coming in, and that's one of the first things that we've said we're going to put money to the side for is for legal team, So, yes.
What about the increase of folks teaching at home now?
Exactly. And that's the market we actually want to go after first,
Yeah, that's,
is the homeschool market. We want to go, since now every parent is an educator,
yeah.
right? Every parent is an educator. And we're going to go hard after the private school, the charter schools, and homeschool market. It's a very tight-knit market. They talk, they have, these conservative values, and we want to appeal to that.
And you keep saying we. How many of you can go out in the market to all these people? Because you have to go hit them individually or in small groups at a time.
No, not really. Our network, so between me and Dr. Staggers and a few other people that's on board, that's kind of been with me from the beginning, yes, we do have our network of educators and so forth. But selling to the K through 12 system is huge. It's like one of the largest industries, the educational department. So there are already business systems in place, right, on every level. So there are individuals that have the relationships with these schools already, and their title, their business model is, we are educational consultants. So if you, Mr. Startup, want to get into, let's say, all of the schools in California, well, here's who you talk to, right? And they leverage their relationships to get into the schools for a fee. Now, the schools themselves, the principals, the superintendents, they get kickbacks, right? That's none of my business. That's between them. But it's an already established principle. It exists already. If you want to get into the schools, it's not can you get into the schools. It's not does it make sense for the schools. It's can you afford their fee.
And you have to pay the fee.
Yeah, and that's just the way it is. Now, if it was something stupid, if it was something that would be a hard sell, I mean, they'll take your money, but it just wouldn't take off. We actually built our platform in such a way that would make the K through 12 school system say yes. So that's the parts that I didn't get into that would have made the presentation much longer. But so schools, K through 12 schools, their funding comes from average daily attendance, right? So every time a student shows up to school, they make that's how they make their money. I think they make something like $100 a day for each student as they show up to school. If that kid does not show up, they don't get that $100, right? That's why they're so big on making kids come to school. Well, since COVID hit, man, that is just it's just crazy right now, right? Kids don't want to go to school, right? And even when they're home, they don't want to go to school, right? I mean, virtual, they don't show up, right? So it's like, what are we gonna do now, right? And so there's this big push in these big campaigns and big budgets for getting kids to come to school, right? So I said there was 4 ways for students to earn coins for college. Number 1, attendance. When they show up to school, they get some coins for college. So we built it with K through 12 schools in mind because they are ultimately our first customers. They're the gatekeepers to all the students. So second one, and there's huge budgets for this as well. Because of COVID, students lost a lot of education, right? They're way behind. They've been out of the classroom for some of them for 2 years, some of them longer, and they're behind. They're just way behind. So there's these huge budgets to help add enrichment to the kids so they could get caught up, right? They could get caught up, right? Because a lot of kids can't afford tutoring and so forth. And here we come to the rescue again. On our platform, the second way you earn coins for college is enrichment, watching educational videos to fill those knowledge gaps. Because the knowledge gaps right now are huge. They're huge, and it's messing up the whole system. So, okay, so you missed fractions, right? Because you were at home with COVID or whatever. Okay, on our platform, you could learn all about fractions from the very best teachers in the world. Right there on our platform, and you earn coins for college. So what's the next thing that colleges want? K through 12 schools want? They ultimately want their kids to go to college. In fact, the percentage of students that go to college from one school to another school is how you determine how good of a school it is, right? So Brentwood schools, Heritage, right? The percentage of kids that go to 4-year universities versus, let's say, Antioch High is huge, right? And so as a parent, you want to know those numbers, right? What percentage of kids graduate and go to college? What type of colleges do they go to? Okay, I want my kid going to this school. So we're coming in, we're saying, hey, our whole platform is designed to help kids get into college, right? And to get into 4-year colleges. They usually go to LMC because of all the pressure, and they didn't do proper planning. And because they didn't do proper planning, and I got to do something, and they settle for a junior college. When in truth, they could have went to, UC Berkeley, or they could have went to a lot of different. Berkeley is kind of aiming for the fences, but you get the point. They could have went to another college if they had the proper planning in place. And that's really what we're doing, is we're helping parents and students plan for college at a much earlier time frame, not just plan for it, mentally, but also academically and financially.
Have you thought of videotaping a presentation geared towards those specific, like just for colleges or just for parents or just for, I don't know, just different, so that you could then, like, I can say, hey, your friend who's a teacher, send this video for teachers specifically about this and how it's going to gain them a lot of.
That's a great idea, and that's what I've been thinking about. That's what I've been working on today. Like, how do I do that?
Because you can't split yourself in 10 different ways.
Exactly. So last night I got a phone call. Someone who had already invested. He said, "Hey Josh, I have a small group. Small groups like churches. They do like small groups." And he said, "Hey Josh, my small group is a small group for college students, 18 to 24-year-olds." And I told them about Points for College, and they were super excited, and they want to know if you could come and do a presentation for them. So I was thinking, man, I would love to record that, just because I want to interact with college students about their experience of getting into college, the struggles, how would this have helped them for the purpose of what you just said.
Those same little blocks that you had up earlier, corporations, etc., like same blocks, but people can click on it depending on who they are, and then just go through that presentation, and then that same block down below saying, hey, if you want to put 2,500, 5,000, whatever,
I love
all online.
I love it.
Spreading yourself throughout the world. Yay!
So I was looking at this video software today that does like video sales pages, and I've been thinking literally, like, how will this look? And so you just showed it to
Like
me.
when you go on LinkedIn, people are like trying to
Tell
expose
him.
their startups. That's what they do.
Tell him what you do for a living, because I've got a feeling you might be able to use some of her talents.
I work for Zillow Group.
Oh,
Worked. Oh no, I'm still there.
you mean
I've been on
the
a
real
legal
estate?
housing, the real estate company that's going under. So effective January 31st, I'll be laid off because they're laying off 25% of their workforce.
Wow.
They got into a product that really just didn't take off. It's really buy and sell of homes throughout
Yeah.
the United States.
Yeah.
Bad
That's what an
idea.
article.
So they're going, 25% cut. January 31st is the end of my stay with them, and basically I'm a senior recruiter. I hire a lot of techie folks. I've hired a lot of folks from India.
Yeah.
One of my best friends is an Indian guy, so yeah.
So that's your language, yeah.
When I needed help with the website that we were putting together, put that on hold. 'Cause anyways, I was working with an Indian guy also, who helped program the stuff,
Wow.
etc. So yeah,
Wow.
when you're talking about putting your resume together and all this stuff, it's like, oh, I've been doing this for like 30-something years.
Yeah. Oh wow.
I know I look 19, but
That's that Filipino blood.
I'll be 50 $1.99, yo.
No way.
Way.
Wow.
On Christmas.
I'm telling you.
On Christmas?
Christmas Day.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
And then her son's birthday on
New Year's Eve.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we planned it
What a
all.
family.
And then Jason was on Labor Day.
Oh wow. Labor Day, labor on Labor Day.
Yeah. In 86.
What a family. That's hilarious. You know, a reality show, TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywho.
So, any feedback? I mean, I would love feedback. Like, what can I do better? You know, did I bore you guys? Did I go too long in the beginning part?
I wasn't bored. I was, usually stuff like this would bore me. But no, it kept it very interesting, and I'm glad that you took the advice from the person and say get straight to the point, because
Yeah, shorter.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a pretty good understanding. Even
Okay,
like
great.
I don't have a strong understanding of like the crypto markets and
Mhm.
stuff. But I feel like I have a good understanding of what your company is and what it stands for. So.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
I didn't think it was too long. I was expecting about an hour.
Okay.
Because we did something similar, where we would present with Victor, the guy you gotta meet.
Okay. Okay.
We would present, and they used me a couple times to present to others. And it's hard, right? Trying to whittle it down.
Yeah.
And you're like, boo, but I want to tell you everything.
This is so important. And I built this platform, so that's the part that I cut most of it out, because he said, all right, you get it. It's an awesome platform. So I needed someone with eyes outside of mine, because when you build something, you're just like, and then it can do this, and then it can do that, and it can do this, and so I narrowed. I took
Maybe
like
a
10
video by
slides.
itself, the techie side of things.
Yeah, and that's
by
what someone
itself.
suggested.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then target your audience based on their profession or corporation or whatever.
Yeah. Awesome.
Awesome, you did a great job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so my funds should be in tomorrow or the day after.
Okay. Awesome.
So then I guess I have to go pick it up, believe it or not. My bank is just screwed up that way. It's a credit union.
Oh, wow.
So you have to give me directions on how we're going to work that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, they're not going to give you like the actual.
No.
Oh,
Me.
okay.
I mean, they would if I gave him a day in advance notice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as far as cutting up the
Do you
check
take
and
cash?
I do. Yep. Never say no to cash. Cash is king for now. They're going away with it.
Yeah.
It's going to be, cash is there. This whole coin shortage that they're talking about, that's the beginning of going away from digital currency. So remember how I said to you guys at the banks, who needs them anymore? So right now, cash is the legacy. It's legacy, right? But America has more billionaires than any other nation by far, by far, right? And millionaires, and this system is going bye-bye, and it's like, so we're in the process of transitioning, and what they're trying to do is ultimately come up with a American digital currency system, right? The problem with that is that the people who are the billionaires, and maybe there's even trillionaires that we don't know about, is because you were able to hide money, right? But with blockchain technology, it's not that it's harder to do, and it's not. It's weird, right? But they gotta pull their money out of this legacy system. And do they put it in this new system, right? If they don't, it could go bye-bye, right? It could lose value, or it could, so it's just a weird space that the world is in right now. So there's like this big global reset that is happening right now.
Speaking of resets, have you heard of QFS? Quantum Financial System?
No.
Because that's supposed to be, well, we'll see. That's supposed to be the system that's gonna take over the entire world system,
Okay.
the financial system. So QFS supposedly is up and running and controlled by Starlink, and I don't know.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's,
Yeah, I just know that whole Starlink thing is we could talk hours on that.
I know,
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how that rolls out.
Yeah, it's kind of, interesting, real interesting. What's gonna happen?
I guess that's part of my question is how is that gonna affect this? Cause not knowing what that's gonna look like, how is that gonna affect
Well,
this?
see, that's the whole thing. I believe, I like to think of it. Imagine two huge semi trucks, right? And they're coming, right? Like this, and they're ultimately gonna take over both lanes, right? And everybody gotta fall in line behind. And I'm this small little fast turbo car. And I gotta get in between before they, take over. And praise God, that's where I'm in a position right now to do and be. And because once you have digital currency, right? Once you have a lot of digital currency, it's like the new highway system, right? Everything is going to be digital currency. So you want to get your money out of cash and out of the US dollar and into this digital, wherever you put it. Bitcoin, I believe, is a very safe place. I believe Tuition Coin is a very safe place. But you want to get in because the US dollar there's some really crazy things that are about to happen
I know,
all around the world.
and buying silver too.
And see, I've heard that for a long time. And so, have you heard of Mike Maloney?
What the hell? He's
it's
got
like,
a lot of YouTube videos.
yeah, and
Yeah.
he talks about the whole financial system.
Yeah.
And they've been talking about buying gold and buying silver. And that made perfect sense before cryptocurrency. So, gold and silver, yes, will always have value, but it's not going to allow you to, I don't believe, see the 200x and 1000x and 20,000x. I don't, because there is cryptocurrency. If there was no such thing as cryptocurrency, then yes, I would have been 10 years ago, gold and silver 100% of the way. 100% of the way. In fact, it was predicted that gold was going to do this amazing thing, and it didn't do it. You know why? Because it's going into Bitcoin. It's going into Doge. It's going into cryptocurrency.
I'm curious to see what happens when the QFS kicks in because that is supposed to be like a worldwide thing and it's going to reevaluate all the currencies so that we're all on the same even playing field and they say it's going to be gold back because we've now retrieved all this gold worldwide.
Yeah. So when you think of cryptocurrency and the decentralized nature behind it, I believe this is going to go straight into the return of Jesus Christ, right? Because we are so much closer to what the book of Revelation said, where you will not be able to buy or sell unless you take the mark of the beast. Revelation said that, and it made 0 sense for 2,000 years. Because how can you stop people from bartering? How can you stop people from using cash to just do whatever? But with digital currency, it is, it's just a matter of time.
No, I believe digital currencies or cryptocurrencies is the way to go if you want big time X
Yeah.
for your money, big returns. Silver still, I think, will also start to increase because it's been, I'm going into deep state stuff. It's been held down. The value of silver, I've heard from different truthers out there, is really $3,000 to $5,000 per ounce if you had let it grow over time the way it should have. But they kept pushing it down because they,
Yeah.
there I go with the deep state stuff. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So now, supposedly, if QFS comes in, no one, it's going to be gold-backed money going forward, that they're going to let silver and gold run the way it should have all these years. And so a couple of these truthers that, are doing these YouTube videos, they're predicting $100 for silver come December. We're now in December. I don't know if that's going to really take place or not.
Yeah.
Because right now it's like $23 to $26 fluctuating per ounce, per troy ounce, I should say. So, I don't know. I'm gonna put some money into this. That's not the point.
Yeah, I know.
I just trying to say, how's that gonna affect this? Big picture kind of thing, QFS is gonna affect everything.
Yeah. I don't, for me, I'm bullish anything outside of US dollar and
I'm
cash.
bullish any crypto.
Yeah.
Because that's the way we're gonna go worldwide, right?
Yeah.
And Thank you so much for that presentation.
You're awesome, Josh. That took you away from your family long enough.
Hey, Joseph, can I call you back?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. How long before you reach San Francisco?
I'll get there, right now.
Okay, I'll call you back. All right.